What is up, guys? I've actually kind of gone a little bit too all out on streaming this week, and I've managed to kill my voice. So sorry if I sound a little bit different or hard to hear, but we're going to be moving on today and doing episode 2 of the map tips and tricks video, and today we're going to be finishing off with all the payload maps that we didn't get to last week, so I hope you guys enjoy. So we're going to start off here on Hoodoo, and this is honestly one of the coolest spots I think in any map, and it is one of the least used, and I don't understand why. You can actually get up on this roof here by jumping off those rocks, and the number one thing I would recommend for this is when you're an engineer, you can actually come up here, you can either build a sentry, or you can put a really sneaky hidden teleporter up on this roof where people never check, and then once they cap that first point, your whole team can be spawning behind them, and they'll have no idea where they're coming from, and it'll take them ages to find it. Now next up we've got this spot here, which is just a really cool little route you can take, which is to a cool flanking route. And now normally you can't get up here because it's all one-way gates and you'd have to walk all the way around this way, which isn't really possible after they've capped the first point. But with that cool little jump there, you can, as a spy, just get up there and get behind them. So now moving on to upward, normally there's that little spot down there with a point that is covered in sentries, and it's really hard to walk by when you're a spy. So you can just jump off that rock there, jump up there, strafe around, and it gives you this really nice access route that you can reach that point from behind. Now next up, if you're getting chased by people, this is normally when I use this. You can just do a jump off the edge there, land on that, and then come back in through this window. And it makes it really hard for people to chase you, and then you can do that the other way around as well. So this point here, normally you can't actually get up there unless you walk all the way around through that spawn area. But if you just jump up on this sheet metal, you can do a quick jump over, and it gives you a really nice access route into that spawn place. Now this door here, this spawn door, I see comments on videos all the time like, oh my god, I didn't even know this thing existed. I'm going to assume that 90% of you do know it exists, but I'm going to put it here anyway. And on top of that, just this little beam you can see up here is a really cool place you can just jump up and you can stand on and wait for people to walk by beneath you. And if you're a soldier, just shoot down on them, or if you're a spy, you can drop on them, and people very rarely look up there. So now we're here on Gold Rush, and you can see here, this is a spot that most people know about. You can just kind of shimmy up here and stand on this ledge. It's really good for defense, and just waiting for people to come out and then dropping on them. But one I don't see used as frequently is when you're attacking, you can actually come up on this rock and do it kind of in reverse, and bypass that whole bottom area, so you get this really easy access route into that room that is often filled with sentries, and those stairs can be really hard to get up. And on the second point here, you can do this cool little jump and kind of get above the spawn. Now this spawn is normally really hard to kind of get the jump on if you're a spy, because there's no really good place to hide. But with that jump, you can kind of sit above it, wait for people to come out, and then drop on them. Now on the last point here, you can kind of jump across this big gap there by just jumping over those boxes. A lot of people know about that, but I thought I'd put it in anyway. And then further down, you can use this cool little kind of ledge to get around and into this area and then get behind the team when they're stuck in that choke. And now finally, on the last point, that top area that I was just looking at is often covered in snipers, and you can kind of shimmy up there as a spy or any other class and actually get up there with them, which surprisingly few people know about, even though it was a pretty intentional access route. So we're going to finish up here on Thunder Mountain. Now this first one's pretty basic and dangerous. You jump out on this log and then you can kind of just jump around the cliff and get behind where these sentries normally are. Now second is that spawn area is normally really hard to get to unless you go up the ramp where the card goes. But if you go up that roof there, you can kind of just jump over there. It's a good access point. Here a medium health pack normally spawns up there, so it's really good to access, but you can't normally unless you jump off the sink there, and it's really helpful. Now here on the second point, you can see that you can use this kind of shimmy over across this kind of, normally where there's a pretty big divide, and it works both ways. You can kind of come back off here, just jump on the fence and then back up. It's can be really useful in certain situations. Now on the last point, the spawn is normally very hard to access, but if you go off that roof there, you can get in, and similarly, you can actually jump off this roof here if you get a really good jump and kind of get up to the last point, and vice versa. You can get back over to those battlements by just doing that jump, which is really useful for getting around the map quickly. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I know some of you would have already known about some of these jumps, but hopefully everyone learned maybe at least one new jump, if not more. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you for the next one.